Hey, happy Monday. Welcome in. This is the live recording of episode 50 of the Client by Client podcast. Coming off of a great week last week with the show, rounding it out with the balance to this episode, which was Money Now tasks. That episode will be going live on the 22nd of June. Today on the podcast, I shared with you how to create the coaching program that your clients never want to leave. So if you've been working to optimize your program, you want to make a program where your clients stick around with you for a long time, if not life, well, you definitely want to go and check out that episode and tune in. You can get it on Apple Podcasts. You can also get it on Spotify. Coming off of a crazy UFC card this last weekend. Who watched that? Let me know in the chat. You guys know Saturdays, pretty much just fighting in my world. That's the day I take off. I might write an email, might edit a podcast, might do something like that, maybe do a little story. But other than that, so let me know if you tuned in and if you were able to check that out. If this is your first time, comment first time. And if you're a repeat offender, drop me some emojis below. Would love to say hi and see how things are going. Let's hop in and let's bring this episode to life. Hey, what's up? It's Jeremy from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be the counterbalance for yesterday's episode. In the last episode of Client by Client, we talked about what needs to happen in order for you to make money now or by the next 72 hours by the end of the week. And the reason I wanted to make this show is because so many of you in my audience, members of my program, when they first sign up, when they first join in, even after being in my audience for some time, I find that the biggest thing that we're lacking is clarity on exactly what to do to make money now. And so I say that because you guys are absolutely fantastic about making your business look good, the setup of it, the workflows, and the automations. And all of those things can be super helpful. None of them are going to get you money by the end of the week. You might make money by the end of the week, but I promise you it's not going to be directly correlated to most of the things that you are doing. So what's very helpful is you being able to wake up and know exactly what to do then and there, when you sit down at your computer, when you grab your phone and you're in business mode, for what to do to drive results. So be sure to backtrack to yesterday's episode, and I want you to bookmark that, save it, and I want you to listen to it on repeat. Maybe when you're getting your steps at the gym, maybe when you're washing the dishes at home, maybe when you're doing your self-development. Maybe when you're starting your day, until it really sticks and until you're consistently getting in leads and clients. Because that episode right there, if you just tune into that one, will absolutely change your game and will turn you into the coach that is no longer worried about the client acquisition. And instead, you can start to put your sights on making the coaching program that your clients never want to leave. And, that is going to, the clients never want to leave. What episode was that for today? Backtracking to episode 41 allows for you to focus in on how to create the kind of coaching program that your clients never want to leave. This is where you breed and create for lifers, and this is how you make your business easier over the long term, which brings us to the topic of today's episode. In the last one, we talked about what to do in order to make money now by the end of the week. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about money later. What needs to happen over the long term so that your business succeeds, your revenue continues going up, and so that, this is not a problem the majority of you are facing, but so that you don't become short-sighted in your business, and so that you can keep your eyes on the bigger picture. Most of you guys are not short-sighted at all. You guys have a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today down, but what you don't have is like the clients or the consistent revenue now. Both of these episodes, today's episode 50 and the last episode, episode 49, are absolutely critical to your business development, to your self-development, and for you as an online coach who wants to serve and impact more people. These are going to be episodes that you're going to need to listen to a couple times in order to get right. If you don't get today's episode right, there's a lot of things that happen, two of which I want to focus on here today. The first thing that happens is that running your business and getting clients continues to stay hard, or your results pretty much stay the same. So that means that whatever your results have averaged over the last 60, 90 days, that's going to be your business 5 years from now. Let that sink in. I know that you didn't become an online coach and start your online business to be making the same kind of money consistently year after year after year. And so if you don't get today's episode right, it's really hard to be attracting enough clients in to be driving revenue upwards. So business continues to stay hard, or as hard as it is right now. Your money stays the same, and you're always in the hunt for brand new faces, brand new bodies, AKA brand new clients. That's the first thing that happens. The second thing that happens is that you lose years of time, tens of thousands on the light side of dollars of money investing into your online business, pretty much into the wrong things, and chasing shallow opportunities that don't progress you further. Whether we're aware of it or not, we might be focused on a thing or two that are very shallow, very self-serving, not going to help others. And until you realize those things, it's really hard to correct them. But if you set your sights in the long term to what we're going to be talking about today, I think that you're going to wind up in the right place. You're going to wind up far happier, and you're going to wind up with a business that's consistent and continuously improving. The goal of today's episode, my goal for you today, is to help you focus on the bigger picture of coaching. And once you have the bigger picture, you'll have your North Star and for what to do over the long term and what to make time for in your day-to-day. And then you'll have the balance for what to do to make money now, how to start your day, the majority of where you need to be investing your time and your energy in your first 1 to 3 years of coaching, or until you get to 15K consistently. Then you start layering in and focusing a bit more on these long-term things. But the Money Now tasks is really centered around coaches in their first 1 to 3 years or under 15K. This is for you as well, but this is going to help a lot of you who are doing above 15K a month on your way to 30, 50, 100K a month. And there's going to be a thing or two inside of here that you're not yet doing that you're going to be like, I needed that reminder, and I'm excited to now get to that. And if you're below that, you're going to be excited and have things waiting for you in the future, waiting for you to get there, waiting for you to get consistent in the revenue to build up so that you can now get to these bigger picture, long-term type focuses. If you recall, if you did listen to episode 49, Money Now Task, if not, keep listening now or pause, you can go to it. But I basically shared with you 9 tasks that are the money now things. Sorry, it was 10 tasks. I shared with you 10 tasks that are the money-making tasks, where if revenue is low, your entire day needs to be centered around these 10 tasks and nothing else. As revenue gets more consistent, you can start to put your foot in these money later tasks and start to focus in on the long term. Part of you at all times in your business needs to be focusing on the money. And a part of you, and this will happen more and more the longer you're in business and your revenue goes up, need to spend time making your life better and your business better. This is going to be the start of that. This is all business focus, but when you get to here, life does start to get a little bit easier, start to get a bit brighter, and I think you'll see why as we make our way through today's episode. The first thing that I want for you to be thinking about for money later tasks is about partnerships. And what this really is about is creating a name and a reputation for yourself outside of just the prospects in your audience. That's you researching, forming, and forging relationships with other people in your space. So in whatever it is that you coach, it's finding the other coaches, the other thought leaders, the other influencers that have the attention of your same perfect future prospects of your niche, of your target market, and creating relationships with them. Now, where those relationships will end up is a bit more advanced for what we have time for today. But when you have a Rolodex of personal friends that you can call on, where yes, they're your colleagues, and some of them will be way more professional leaning relationships, a few of them will become personal friends of yours. They will become people that you rely on and maybe even lean on when times are tough. So not only do you get professional relationships and personal friends, but you potentially set yourself up to be able to do joint venture partnerships. What that might look like is doing a lead magnet swap where they promote the lead magnet you have to their email list, their Facebook group, their social media audience, and you do the same for them. Maybe that's running a workshop together. At times, that might be bringing them to your audience and doing a workshop for them where you may or may not get an affiliate cut of whatever they sell during that webinar, workshop, or on the back end, or you doing that same thing. Now, to get to that point and to be able to do that, it takes time. It takes helping people become success stories. It takes getting out of the money now tasks, but you have to get you have to be in and get through the money now tasks in order to get here. So one of the first things that might be on your horizon, or might be one of the things to start focusing in on if you're already at 15K a month, is joint ventures and partnerships. So what this looks like is, again, finding the people in your space who are the thought leaders, the influencers, the other coaches, the service providers in that space that have the attention of your market, and teaming up with them, building relationships with them, and then finding and exploring how to make it a win for them, how to make it a win for their audience, your audience, and also for you. And when you get this right, what you then create is immediate injections of cash and of fresh leads, and you never run out of sources for it. In fact, I'll let it be known right now on today's episode, I'm a way bigger fan of joint ventures and partnerships than I am of paid traffic. You cannot experience the beauty unless you've failed in paid traffic to then know how much easier and how much more fruitful and how much more fun partnerships and joint ventures are versus having to get on your knees and beg Mark and Facebook and Instagram to put your ads in front of the right people and having to create a whole system around it. You follow this organic path, you never even have to go down that. And joint ventures really are at the end of that path and can really keep you from needing to even go down the paid traffic route. The first thing for money later task is partnerships. If you're above 15K right now, then you might be doing some of these things already. I want you to become more conscious of it. I want you to start tracking these relationships, managing these relationships just like you do your prospects and your clients, so that you don't just go about making friends, you actually do end up creating partnerships that can benefit you, your audience, your partners, and their audience as well. And when everyone wins, it's such a beautiful thing. That's the first money later task and kind of like money later mode that you get to be into once you cross that 15K a month mark. The second money later task that I know some of you are already heavily thinking about, a few of you might already have a foot in this boat. The problem is that a lot of you guys start to do this a little too soon. Same with like the paid traffic thing, but I'm more of a fan of you doing this too soon if you can afford it and you have the resources for it over paid traffic. And that's building a team / delegating. Both of these sound beautiful and amazing. And for those of you who are modeling a coach that has a big team or a big box coach, you're probably thinking this, they're probably already training you on some of these things. What I can promise you is that it isn't easy. And it can sometimes totally not be fun. In fact, a lot of these things I'm going to share with you, only one or two of them is going to fall in your own personal zone of genius. The others of which are helpful to have a team member to run for you. But if you're not good with people and you're not good with teams, maybe you focus on building a business that doesn't need those things. Like one of the things that I pride myself on is having little to no team necessary for my business. I can bring people in, I can pull contractors and service providers, and there is milestones I've marked out in my business to bring on, to open up certain seats on my team. But I can promise you that it isn't as easy, nor is it as fun as it can sometimes sound. Is that when you have to deal with other people, it can take you away from what you might have found yourself enjoying or loving in the business, or can take you out of your zone of genius and out of what you're just naturally good at. So the second thing is really building a team and delegating. I know some of you guys want this and will end up getting there, which is awesome. The majority of the people that I help don't want to have a team or at least a big team in order to run their coaching business. And I think that's a viable thought, which is why I tell people, like, I will help you build your business without paid traffic, without building a team, and without selling your soul. Like I say those things, but I say them from a place of experience. And I say them from a place of, if you can run a lean online business that doesn't require a lot of people or delegation, this can be one of the things that helps you to enjoy the business. I know a lot of my peers in the space who went down the I want to be a big box coach route and started doing all of the things. And most of them wind up having to lay off, cut back, or cut out the team part because it's not giving them energy. It's taking them away from doing the things they're naturally good at, taking them out of their zone of genius, and therefore starting to tank their revenue and also eat into resources. This is multifaceted. It's multidimensional. You have to choose the right path for you. If you're below 15K a month, right now is not the time to be focusing in on building a team or delegating. But over time, if you document your processes and create the right information and database is necessary, it can be even easier to bring those team members on. You listening might have a different sort of background where you were managing people and you're great at hiring and you're great at managing expectations. So get to that 15K a month mark, or if you're there already, now might be the time where you're thinking about delegating, building teams and system. And this can be one of those things that does make it easier for your business to run over time. And one of the first things that I would be handing off and outsourcing is most definitely the things that you're not good at, that you're not naturally energized by, because a lot of coaches, they know what they do really well. And so they want to hand off that thing first. And then you wind up with just like a broom in your hand, sweeping up the shop afterwards. There's nothing left to do. Make sure you leave yourself room for doing the things that you love doing and that give you energy, and don't pimp out those things first. Thing number 2 is about building a team and delegating. Dovetailing off of that, create systems. This can be done right now where you're at, whether you're the newest of new coaches or you're doing 100K a month. Is thinking through what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, analyzing what you're doing at the end of every day, and having a small conversation with yourself that allows for you to start understanding the pulse of your energy in the business. What gives you energy? What do you avoid? What drains the hell out of you at the end of the day and keeps you maybe even like drained into the next day and not wanting to show up for the business or for your responsibilities as an online coach? But you got to be creating systems. You should begin doing this in the money now part of your career in those first 3 years, that under 15K a month mark. But all of the systems that you should be building should be around the 10 things that we did talk about on the previous episode. When it comes to long-term creating systems, this is about having a place where you and your team, if you have one, are coming to check the boxes, do the things, and managing yourself so that you get things done, so that every box gets ticked, so that your clients' expectations are met, so that your own personal expectations as the boss or as a leader of the company and business are being met, and so that no stones get unturned as you've started to raise your prices and as you started to attract in the higher, better parts of your market. You want to make sure that you have the systems for client delivery really dialed in so that the day-to-day of the business can run. There is a balance in all of this, a dance of money now and money later, regardless of the stage that you're at in your business. And you have to build the ability to know when and where and what mode to be in for when and where. And this is something that will come with you with time, that will come with you by listening to the show and being a part of coaching programs and around other coaches and mentors that have this nailed in. But a lot of this is going to be determined by the consistency of your revenue. So if your revenue isn't consistent, let's build some systems so that you can get more consistent in driving the revenue. And then you can start to hand those things off, get help with them, or just creating systems around the client delivery, around the client deliverables and the expectations and every other part of your business. There are actually 3 kinds of tasks. I'll let it be known now. There are money now tasks, money later tasks, and admin tasks. Those admin tasks are probably some of the first ones that you're going to be doing that are draining you, that you got to build systems around, checklists around, and then that's a perfect time to inject and insert a VA or someone who's going to be helping you virtually that doesn't need a lot of experience or to even know coaching, but can press buttons and do things with minimal direction or guidance once they've gotten it down, and then you have the right systems in place to be able to make that happen. Thing number 3 is creating systems. Fourth, I thought a lot about this one because I know a lot of you guys watch what I do and I'm flattered by it and are thinking through in your business some of the decisions for where you want to take your business and what might be the next best thing for you to do. Under 15K a month, starting a podcast is not one of them. But once you get beyond that, you have to be thinking about creating authority and building authority long-term. You do not need a lot of authority in your market or to be a renowned name to be making 15K a month. Long-term, it is one of the things that will make it easier for you to build your business and for you to get clients. So that might be launching a podcast, writing a book. That might be launching a formal, well-designed website. That might be creating a speaking circuit and tour that you go on and a whole message that you take with. That might be, instead of launching a podcast, going on a podcast tour and reaching out and or hiring someone to help you book yourself onto the right shows to get yourself the kind of exposure and the notoriety from other thought leaders and influencers in your space. So thing number 4 is about creating authority. When you can create authority through a podcast or through those things, it gets easier. And people start to come your way. They start to close you even more. The close you even more and people coming your way is something that you can create on a prospect by prospect basis for the money now tasks and for the folks that are really below 15K a month. Long term, you want to be building your authority. The way you start doing that is by showing up daily on your story. And then the way you long-term start doing that is by focusing in and doubling down on all different types of form of content, more consistent content, and putting out bodies of work like a podcast, like a book, some sort of TV series or something like that. Like it could go as far as that. And that's going to help you to get your name out there in a one-to-many type of way. That's high leverage because, like, think about with this right now, I'm creating this, and whether people are watching live or not, this is going to be on all platforms for replay. It's going in the podcast to exist mostly for forever, or it could be for forever. It's going on my YouTube channel for people to go and watch and to be discovered. So someone 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 3 years from now can find it, get help through it, through the old version of me that's here right now doing this. And then they might end up deciding, wow, let me see where they're at now. Let me listen to the recent episodes of the podcast. Well, this is a podcast. Let me go and find it. Whoa, this was episode 50. He's now on episode 947. Now that's going to be pulling them towards me, wanting for them to understand if I can help them, what programs do I have, are they open for enrollment right now, etc. Thing number 4 is building and creating authority and notoriety in your space. 5th is improving your website. What's the word I'm looking for? I drove home the point over the last 49 episodes, and I will continue to, that you don't need a website. You specifically don't need a fancy website. You don't need landing pages or funnels or any of those things. And we're going to talk more in upcoming episodes about the concept that I think I just like kind of said through the side of my mouth on yesterday's episode of social media as the funnel, or your social media profile as the funnel. But you don't need fancy websites when you're starting, or funnels, or any of those things. And they can be so costly, even though 49 or 39 or 99 isn't that much. You don't just need one. You need multiple things. You have to back it up. You got to sync it. You have to have plugins. You want to do this other thing because you want to look like Russell Brunson. You want to look like Talking More. You want to look like insert big box coach here, Tony Robbins, or whatever coach that it is you're following. And then what ends up happening is that you end up absolutely needing the money to maintain those things. And now you're out of the energy of attracting in clients, and you're in the mode of like, oh shit, let me get into money making mode and maintaining these expensive services that don't sound that expensive from the outset. But once you get past 15K a month consistently, that's when you start improving and tweaking and iterating on these things. This is maybe when you create a call booking funnel, where it's not just sending them to your Calendly like we've talked about in the past for my baby coaches or for new coaches, where you maybe promote a couple times a year a certain type of call that your audience can book with you, or you do a formal launch, and so you want to have the right landing pages and forms and automations and those sorts of things. But this is for you if you already have the money coming in and you're consistent. This is going to distract you and end up hurting you in the short, mid, and then long term if you're focusing on these things too soon. So part of me wants a big part of me hesitates at sharing some of these things with you, but it's part of my mission to broaden your perspective of online coaching and broaden your perspective of your longevity as an online coach. And so I think it's important for you to know where you're headed and what's on the other side of the routine and repetition and tasks to get you to consistent revenue, so that you can then get beyond that and into these things that you want to do, like launching and like creating checkout pages and webinars and having automated delivery. And that starts with like starting to improve the website or having a website and a whole process around it. That's not a money now thing. That's a money later thing, which is why it's on this list and it's at number 5. 6th, if you're at 15K a month, you have my permission and green light to experiment with adding in or starting to pepper in paid traffic. The issue is that, and I see this so much, guys, from my own peers, from my own students alike, and that's that you get to 15K or you have your first big month. So you go and pump $1,000 to $7,000 in paid traffic, and you go all out. And in doing that, in setting up the tracking, in writing the copy, and finding the right images, in writing the emails, in setting up the Zapier, and learning all of these things that are easily learned, but you have to spend the time to learn them and problem solve and then figure out and then deal with Facebook accepting the ad or rejecting the ad and then fixing it. And then, oh, it's not working. What's not working? Let me get good at figuring out what's not working. And then like now you're a month into your project and your ads aren't pulling in clients. They can, but the issue is that you spent all of that time and you were not organically driving in the results like you were that got you to this point of being able to invest that money. So I say with caution that you start peppering in baby ads when you get to that 15K a month mark. What this might be is like boosting posts if you're not that tech savvy. What this might be is lead gen, like the lead gen form types on Facebook, where it goes directly to getting the opt-in and you don't need web pages or thank you pages or anything like that for it. But I would really take this slow and I would baby step you into it, because what you run up against is not spending the right amount of time or energy in driving the results like you have been that got you to this point. And so ad campaigns is number 6. It is not as easy as just writing an ad or a video sales letter and just launching it, although many of the people that you follow make it sound that way. It took them decades to get to be able to do that, and they have things that you don't. They have huge audiences of tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, so they can write a sales page, an ad, a video sales letter, run ads to it that sucks and still get results. You may not have those things. The majority of you do not have those things, which is why ad campaigns is like, I say it with hesitancy and I say it with many disclaimers, but a money later task is going to be working on ad campaigns. If you don't have a team helping you with the other things in your business, it's really hard to get ads up and going, or you're going to have to hire someone to go and do it. And then now you're on their clock. You have to go at their speed and at their expertise. And it's really easy to sell someone on your ability. It's a lot harder to actually deliver on what you're promising in that sale. And I think that reigns true for most people who do paid traffic. You probably won't find the right paid traffic person to help you the first time you go and look for one. Really good ad specialists charge really good money, and it should cost you a lot in order to work with the right person. Otherwise, just completely avoid this thing and the money now. And it's my goal to get you to 30, 50, 100K a month in organic without the ads. But you can start on the ads once you hit 15K a month, but it's a money later thing, not a replace my money now task type of thing. That's number 6. 7th, and 7, 8, and 9, I have highlighted. These are the ones that I think are the most important that you might want to start doing now, that might have a little overlap with the money now tasks. I know we're talking money later, but they could have some money now representativeness inside of them. And these are probably the most important of the things that we're going to talk about here today. Number 7, making your program better. If you don't already, it should be your goal to have your curriculum documented, where when you enroll a student, they can go through your curriculum without you being there to coach them. If you're just getting started, you might be in one-on-one mode. You might be in delivering it live and then editing or uploading the replay afterwards and then making it a piece of your content. But it should be your goal to, at minimum, have a Facebook group where in the guides you have your curriculum. I use Facebook groups for my program. You can also use a content management system. There are many of them out there. The ones that I make fun of a lot, because a lot of people go and sign up for them way too soon because they want to look like Tony Robbins or Dean Graziosi or Lewis Howes or John Lee Dumas or whoever, Pat Flynn. There are Kajabis. There are, I think Thrive makes one. You could do a makeshift one in WordPress if you're good at WordPress. Wix has them. Teachable. These are all examples of places where you can put your content management and have it managed as a library, and where your students, your paying students, can go through your curriculum. I would just recommend a Facebook group because everybody has Facebook, and it doesn't cost you anything to host your program up on there. But that should be a short to mid-range goal of yours. If you're above 15K a month, my hunch is that you already have a content library or a library of your curriculum available for your students, and that you're probably not doing that much one-on-one coaching, such as myself. Well, you would want to think about making your program better. So thinking about what can make the onboarding better, right? When you sign up a new client, what needs to happen in those first minutes, the first hours, the first 24 hours, that day, that first 7 days, that first 10 days, in order for their journey to be smooth. Maybe your program doesn't start when they make their investment, or at the end of their sales call, they don't get access to everything right away. And maybe you have noticed that when you give access to all of your curriculum out the gate, that people don't get that good of results. Well, what needs to happen in the onboarding? I'm going through a scenario for what could be happening in your business, but you would need to make the program better. So if you have people canceling or refunding in your first 30 days, you got to make those first 30 days better and spend the time documenting it out moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day to make it better. Maybe you can see that only a small percentage of your clients are getting results. You tried your best, but hopefully now you're a better coach. You've learned more because you're a student of the game that you coach on, and you're getting better at coaching in and of itself. And so you want to take your results to a higher place. Well, like, what needs to happen to do that? There are a million ways you can do it. Which way you're going to do it for your business is really up to you and your creativity. You can layer in new parts of your program to make it more valuable. Maybe you have a group program like me and you want to add unlimited one-on-one like we've done in the past. Okay, what's the system and the process that needs to go with it? What merits someone being able to book a one-on-one call with you? What needs to happen before then? You might add these pieces in and then come up with some logistics for what needs to happen for that one-on-one call to take place. You might find something is missing. You might find that communicating with your clients is really hard and no one knows when to show up for the group calls and when are the events you're having. So you go and find a solution to do that. You have to make your program better over time to keep your current clients happy, to have things to promote to your non to your to promote to your audience and to your prospects who are thinking about signing up for your program. And you also want to feel really good about your program. That means spring cleaning at minimum. That means adding in new resources, adding in new tools, sprucing it up, analyzing results and seeing how you can make those results more repeatable. You have to be working on making your program better. And if you're in money now mode, you're probably not in let me make the perfect program mode, which is totally cool. Over time, you want to be spending time and investing time in your program in the later hours of your day after you've done the prospecting, after you've done the sales calls, after you've made some money that day. And then you can be making a program that gets better and better, that gets better with every person that signs up, and that your clients are dying to continue in month to month after their initial agreement to stay with you because they don't want to miss what's coming up and they don't want to miss learning it from you. That's thing number 7. 8, you have to be working on your offer. The majority of you right now are under 15K a month because your offer just straight up sucks. It's enough for you to be getting 3, 5, 7K a month, maybe not consistently. But if your offer isn't converting above 50% from sales calls, above 30% from the DM, if you're doing a DM close, then you have to be working on making your offer better and getting as close to being an absolute no-brainer as possible, getting as absolutely close as possible to the end of the sales call where they say, well, boy, I'd be really dumb to not do this, right? And you're like, yeah. And you know in your heart of hearts. And it's like, if you want your prospects to say that, then something needs to happen in your business in order for that to take place. So on top of making your program better, you have to be getting people into the program. And so if you're like, I think I said it in the last episode, like no one thinks their own baby's ugly, right? Everyone thinks their baby is gorgeous, and you probably feel that way about your offer. But if you're below 15K a month and you're below that 50% conversion rate from sales calls, then you need to be making a better offer, and your offer just isn't there yet. Continue tweaking, continue iterating. You should be doing this from day one in your business, and then over the long term, you're going to get better at offers and promotions and these sorts of things. But you have to be working on making that offer better, short, mid to long term. This is one of the highest, how do I want to say this? If you were to rank and put a dollar association to tasks that you do throughout your day and throughout the longevity of your business, the existence of your business, working on your offer is one of those that has the highest dollar amount attached to it versus almost anything else that you're going to do. You could get everything right at 100% at a 10 out of 10. But if your offer isn't a 10 out of 10, then none of those things are going to be enough to carry you. They may keep you where you're at. You may go up in revenue, but you're never going to be going at the speed of which you're wanting. And you're going to be looking at everything outside of your offer to make better and to make convert better. So you have to be working on your offer. This is a money now thing to make your offer better. And then over the long term, something in my mouth. And then over the long term, it's a money later task because when your offer gets better, that's going to make it easier for your salespeople if you build a sales team. It's going to make it easier for you. You're going to walk into sales calls believing so much in your offer. You're going to exude that and radiate that. Your prospect is going to pick up on that even through Zoom and say, how much does it cost? Do you have room for me? Is there anything else I should know? How do I pay? And when you're doing that, like sales get really fun. And also bringing those sort of people in your business is also a lot more fun than the folks who have the like 100 questions and then need to think about it. And they're questioning a lower ticket that you're charging right now, like a 2,000 to 3,000. And then on the other end of it, just selling 10, 15, $20,000 packages just starts to work like gangbusters because your offer got better and better over time. If you're getting value from today's episode, scroll down to the bottom of Apple Podcasts, hit that review and let me know what you think about it, what you got value from, or even what I could be doing better. But be sure to follow or subscribe in whatever podcast you're listening, whatever podcast player you're listening to. Tell a friend, screenshot it, tag me. I'll reshare you on my story. It'd mean the world. It helped me get in front of more people, and it helped me serve more of the people that I am here on my mission-guided, God-given purpose here to do on this earth. So if you're getting value, be sure to give us a subscribe and a rating and review, only if it's honest. The last thing number 9 for money later tasks. You have to join a coaching program of a coach that has the business, the life, and the results that you're wanting in your life. I know many of you right now are in a coaching program, but if you're not in a program and revenue's low, you wake up on Monday and you start every day of the week really not knowing what to do. And so you start fumbling with what you're comfortable with, like your website, like making content that's not getting you clients, like doing all of these things that is shiny and makes you look good, but doesn't make your bank account look good, then this one's also for you. A lot of coaches will be the product of and in many programs, and at some point in time, they get jaded on it or they stop. The agreement comes to an end and they say, hey, I'm going to take a little break and go and figure some stuff out. And then a year, 2, 3, 4 years go by of you without a coach. And usually when that happens, your results have really stayed the same. You lose a lot of love for the business. You lose a passion for it. And when that happens, like I think the world's a worse off place because there's so many people now that are suffering with the pain and problem that you can help with, and you're not there to help deliver it at a 10 out of 10 or to run the kind of business to attract them in. So thing number 9 is you have to get around the sort of people that have the results you're wanting. This can be through books and podcasts and mentorships and through many different ways. But if you don't have any of those things available to you, you don't have anyone else around you in your personal friend circle, find a coach that has the results that you're wanting, that's showing proof of other students getting results from their help, and hire them, pay for their time and attention, get around them, immerse yourself in their world. And when you do this, you will figure out and navigate through time the things to be doing to make the money now and then the things to be doing long term. If you're not in a coaching program right now, I don't care if it's mine or someone else's, get the help that you need so you don't continue staying stuck, so you don't continue remaining unclear, because that's the fast path to burnout. I want you to avoid that. When you invest in you are your own greatest investment. And when you invest in yourself, something weird happens in the universe where you do the thing that you want other people to do with you, which is sign up for your coaching. And when you can see someone else's process and your mind is entangled in the thoughts of signing up for and looking through it and going through the program and showing up and playing full out, now you're putting yourself in the sort of state to be attracting in those same sorts of people and those same sorts of experiences. So if you're not in a coaching program and you haven't invested in yourself through coaching, how can you really be talking others into doing that same with you? You can set a lot of the universe right by joining a coaching program and just getting around the help that you need. And whether it's energetic and woo-woo like we just talked about, or it's just getting the help and the answers that you need, all of this is going to move you faster and get you to a far better place in your business and in your life, so you can stop worrying about money and you can start to and really enjoy that epic life while you're building the business from day one or from the day that you decide to go and get that help. That's it, guys. These are the 9 money later tasks: partnerships, building a team and delegating, creating system, building authority, improving your website, writing ad campaigns, making your program better, working on your offer, and joining a coaching program to get the kind of help that you need. Follow these things, make them your North Star after you get through the money now tasks and get to $15K a month, and you'll build a business that lasts a long time, that you can hand down or potentially sell, and that provides for you and your family and a whole hell of a lot of other people along the way. In the next episode of Client by Client, we're going to talk about something that popped off on episode 49 when we talked about the money now tasks. I basically got off my client call and I asked a very simple question at the beginning, which is, are you visualizing your success? And the answers shocked me. So on the next episode, we're going to be talking about, are you visualizing your success? I'm going to share with you my thoughts on how to do it, what to avoid, and exactly what to do in order to get it right by the end of the episode. Whenever you are ready, here are a couple ways I can help you grow your online business. First, get your free copy of GetBookedCRM. Coaches, are you still managing your leads and pipeline from Instagram DM, Facebook Messenger, in your email inbox? Well, when you do that, When you do that, you're losing leads in the cracks and leaving a lot of money on the table. That's why I created GetBookedCRM. This helps you get leads and turn them into clients in half the time. And right now in June of 2023, it's 100% free. All you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the letters CRM to get your free copy now. Second, join my free group for online coaches. We have almost 1,000 coaches and growing from all over the world. It's where I share weekly resources for you to help you grow your online business, resources and other things that I find helpful for growing mine. It's where you can get around me and around almost 1,000 other coaches that are just a step ahead of you at the exact same step that you're at or a small baby step behind you. And when one wins, we all win because all ships rise in a high, because all ships rise in a high tide. To get your free invite, all you have to do is message me the word group on Instagram. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting a couple coaches together this month to implement my strategies and frameworks for getting 15K injection of new clients or to double your online client roster over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But I'm very picky about who I work with, so only respond to this if you are a relationship-focused coach who always puts the person ahead of the money, you've been coaching for at least 1 year, you'd like to get 3 to 5 clients organically every month from social media without wasting money and time on paid ads. You have at least 300 friends on a social platform, subscribers to a list, or members in a group. You are willing to take bold action because you know your success depends upon it. And last but most important, you can keep a secret. If that's you, grab your phone right now and head over to Instagram and search @WhatUpJeremy. Hit that message button and send me the words case study. When you do that, I'll ask you a couple questions, then I'll share with you what we have coming up in the program this month, how we're already helping other students to get results and crush it with my framework and strategy, like Juan, a student from the Get Clients program who set up in August for a $65,000 month. And I'll also share with you what will likely have the highest likelihood of impacting your business the soonest when you join the Get Clients program. To become a next success story, grab your phone and message me @WhatUpJeremy on Instagram, the words case study for all the information and details. That's it for this episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you guys back tomorrow with another one. Cheers. 41. That's a record. My God. I thought the last episode was a record. I think it was 30 minutes at the end of production. This one went even longer, and it feels the same over here on my end. Okay, team, I got more stuff to do. I got more money later tasks. I got more money now tasks. This was one of my money later tasks as well as my money now tasks. This is number 4, build authority for me. If this was of value to you, drop a comment with what stood out to you most. Like, what was the reminder that you needed here today, or the tip, the thing you learned that maybe you hadn't heard in a while or you hadn't heard before. When you do that, you're helping yourself out to consolidate it and to memorize it. And you're also going to be helping and paying it forward with so many other people who are going to come across the show either now or at some point in time in the future. So share below what stood out to you most or what was most valuable here today. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you made it through to the end, drop Happy Monday in all caps. I would love to say hi, see how you're going. And that way I know you made it through to the end. All right, guys. See you guys back again tomorrow. Cheers.